AFC NFC Championship weekend. So I'm starting this new vlog, hopefully a daily vlog called Walk Talk. What is Walk Talk? What the heck is this thing? Well, I was talking to my business partner and friend, Mike Lorraine. We were talking about just overall health-related stuff, and we both decided, we need to do more regular exercise, right? Doctor's been telling me that for years. I could shed a few pounds, so we both made a commitment to ourselves. We're gonna walk every day for at least a good 30 to 45 minutes, and try to commit to that for as much, except for obviously when we have work-related shoots and whatnot, to try to make this a every morning habit. I thought, what a way to make this a little more of a commitment for me is if I make this sort of a YouTube thing, well then I'll have to force myself to do it, because if I don't, then I won't put a video up related to it. So trying to dangle my own carrot here to get into this. So this is episode 1, but this is actually day 3 of this walk. I'm basically just walking through the neighborhood. We have some really nice hiking trails just outside the neighborhood. So we used to go on these all the time when we'd go with the kids and stuff. So thought I just started making that kind of the route. So that's where I'm heading, as figured it'd be a good chance for me to just, while I'm walking, I share some thoughts and talk about whatever it might be and read a few comments here and there. So I see we got some people already in here. Sketchy Scorpion, Jay Millhouse, Jerome, Abby, Big Justin. Jaden says I hate Brady for Super Bowl 49, but damn, he's a legend. Walk it like it, talk it, Jerome. A person, Stephen Gaunt. Sketchy says he's happy Brady's gone, but sad because he was a legend. Rosemary Dawson. Stephen also says I hated Brady for Super Bowl 49, but respect him. I hear that. Nick LeBeau, yo, what's up? All right, so I won't be able to read everything because it's hard to walk and talk while I'm doing this. Mostly reading and walking, so I'm just gonna do mostly the talking. All right, so this should blast, if my timing is about right, should be about a 40-minute walk. So we'll see if that's how long it takes. So I'm not even sure the distance. Well, no, I actually installed an app on this to track my steps and my distance. We'll see how long this thing actually is. I've never really bothered to measure it. All right, so we'll start with the breaking news part. Saw that Tom Brady, kind of been hinted at it since they lost the divisional game last week, that he was skirting around the will he be back issue, and it started looking like the writing was on the wall that he may actually be thinking about hanging it up. And today, it seems like all sources are saying that that's going to be official, that Tom Brady, after 22 seasons in the NFL, is finally retiring. So my thoughts on it. It was, I have to admit, it's a little bit of mixed emotions, because I was, even with the Rams, and I really, when it comes to the 49ers and the Rams being our division rivals, it's really, I'd never root for those guys any day of the week unless they help our team. In this case, there was a part of me that wanted to see the Rams win. One, because it's fun to see the team that's visiting deliver a blow to the home team. And of course, it was Tom Brady on the other side. And a lot of people were like, oh man, no, that doesn't matter. Go against your division rival. But there's a part of me that will forever remember the image of Tom Brady jumping up and down in Super Bowl 49. I was there, saw everything firsthand and felt the frustration and the crashing down of all your hopes and dreams all in one moment. And while it wasn't Tom Brady who was responsible for that play, he, of course, was the quarterback of the team that drove them back 24-14 and got them to be 4 points ahead in the Super Bowl, which ultimately led to that miserable final scenario. So there's always that part of me that always want to see Tom Brady lose, because I feel like that personal thing that this guy created, one of the saddest moments as a fan for my team. So you'd think seeing him retire, it wouldn't be nothing but cheers and celebration and feeling like, at least he's finally gone. Where the heck am I going here? Got distracted. Oh, wait. No, I'm going the right way. Feeling like it should be all good. But the reality is kind of like when a villain in a movie dies, when Darth Maul gets killed or Darth Vader, is gone. There's something about the bad guy, ultimate villain, being gone. There's something sad about that, because you love life, movies, entertainment, all needs a good villain, something to get yourself riled up for, motivated to want to go out and win because you want to take down the bad guy. And Tom Brady was always that bad guy for such a long time. And even this year, part of the reason why I was rooting against him, where normally that would be like automatic, the Rams need to lose, there's a part of me thinking that, well, Russell Wilson was watching Tom Brady win the Super Bowl last year, and him looking at this thinking, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to follow the Tom Brady model, where you go to another team, build a bunch of players around you, and go win a Super Bowl, and just like that. And I thought, if he goes and does it twice, that'll be that much more evidence for him to feel like that's the blueprint for what he needs to do. Selfishly thinking, as a Seahawks fan who doesn't want Russell Wilson to leave. Now, whether he's even given that any thought, that's only my own speculation. But nonetheless, that was another reason why I was rooting against the GOAT, even when they were playing against our Rams. Dio Brando in the super chat says, good riddance. Yeah, so there is that part of me that feels the same way. It's like, good, we don't have to talk about him anymore, deal with him anymore. He's not going to be a pain in anybody's butt anymore. But like I said, like a good villain in a movie, there's something entertaining about having a bad guy to root against or to play against, or to ultimately feel like you haven't passed the test unless you go against the best. And it's hard not to argue that he was the greatest of all time. Sick to have to say it, but when you've done it for 22 years and had as much success as he has, not only with his team but with another team, he was pretty damn good. So I guess I gotta say congratulations on a great career to Tom Brady, and for all that he accomplished, all the games and comebacks and things that he accomplished, especially while with the Patriots. Got traffic up ahead. Hello. Get a little view of where I'm going here. So this is the trail outside our neighborhood, and it's pretty much like this. There's a little bit of ups and downs, but mostly pretty flat, pretty easy. It's nice to feel like I can just take a few steps away from my house and be out in the middle of nature, and just kind of get away from it all for a little bit. But yeah, with Tom Brady, going back to Super Bowl 49, I don't want to go back to there because obviously painful memories, but there's a lot when you think about what was at that moment. That was a pivotal moment where I feel like Tom Brady's career could have been very average from 2014 on had things gone the other way for us. Because at that point, if Russell Wilson we could have crossed that goal line, Russell Wilson would have had 2 back-to-back Super Bowls, and Tom Brady would have been stuck at 3, having the last one he'd won was since 2004 or 5? 2004, I think. And so the reality of how different that feels, and then the Deflategate thing would have been looming large at that point. It's a lot different when you lose and have that hanging over your head than when you win and have that over your head. I think things go radically different, I think for the Seahawks and for Tom Brady. Our fates were kind of intertwined the moment that we threw that interception. And think about that, 3-2 with Russell Wilson having made the Super Bowl twice in 3 years, and Tom Brady having won 3 after being in the league for 13 years. Think about that. Russell Wilson's been in the league 10 years. At that point, Tom Brady had already been playing for 13. So, it had been a while since he'd won. So I think things would have been very, very different in terms of would he have been able to repeat the next year. Seahawks would have had a totally different schedule, totally different momentum, And I think there's a good chance we go a third time. And, you know, we don't have the rough start that we had in the following year, having lost the Super Bowl in 49. Anyway, so a lot of things could change. It's amazing how one play, one moment could change the futures of entire cities, people's careers, years of their careers. But Tom Brady got the best of it, and he made the most of it. So, you know, looking back, even just looking back at the last 10 years, I don't have it in front of me, but I was trying to think, how many teams have actually been to the Super Bowl? How many different teams have won the Super Bowl in a period of the last 10 years? Seattle got one of them. But if my count was correct, only 8 teams. There have been 8 teams to win the Super Bowl over the past 10 years, which obviously means there were some repeats in there. We know who those were. But it's hard to get there, you know? And a lot of the same teams who made it and didn't win did it more than once. I mean, look at the 49ers having gone there, losing to the Chiefs. Potentially that matchup could happen again. The Chiefs made it back-to-back. They won it, but then lost it. You know, so it's hard to repeat. It's hard to get back. But it also shows that how many of the same teams that keep getting back. There's some consistency there. And then you got the teams who've never had even a breath of thinking about making it to the big game, who've been eternally struggling for a long time. So we're lucky, we're fortunate. And it speaks to the NFC West, the fact that when you think about teams that have been to it, Seattle's the only team that's won it in the last 10 years. 49ers made it there in 2012. Seahawks have been there twice. 49ers have been there. How many times did they make it? I guess that one time since. The Rams have been there and lost it. So it's pretty good that in the last 10 years, the NFC West has actually represented pretty well in the Super Bowl, for what that's worth. It's funny, I say that to say how good the division is, but then the last thing in the world I want to see happen is another NFC West team actually winning the Super Bowl. So I'm all AFC at this point. But Tom Brady, you know, going back, you know, I've been alive long enough to watch his whole career, and I witnessed live on TV the game that started it all, the snow game in New England against the Raiders, where the tuck rule was born, and where that was Tom Brady's, you know, starting year. And again, one play, if that tuck rule call is not called and the sack stands as a turnover for the Oakland Raiders, they win that game and the Raiders go to the Super Bowl that year. It should have been a fumble. I don't care about how you want to break down the tuck rule crap, get all technical on me. You just watch that play, it's a fumble. It is a fumble. I think they've since done away with the tuck rule because they realize how ridiculous it is. So you take that play, that ruling away, what happens to Tom Brady in 2001? Does he remain as the quarterback in 2002? Does he have playoff success that he does? You know, he goes and wins the Super Bowl that year. And if the Raiders win it and that call goes the other way, that part in history never happens. He never gets that first one, and who knows what the path is. Does he go on to have the success, even close to the success that he did? It changes everything. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to think how, you know, you get into Back to the Future, time travel, mind warps, and you think how different everything could be. And maybe the greatest of all time is not the greatest, because if not for 2 plays, 2 moments, and we've all seen it. We've all seen games that come down to one call, one play, one mistake, changing an entire direction of a team's fate in the playoffs or more. How it could erase an entire timeline. The whole GOAT timeline maybe doesn't even exist if they don't call the tuck rule. So, but that's a Back to the Future reality. Obviously, nothing's changing that. So it has happened. It is what it is. And Tom Brady retiring after 22 years. Glad to see him go, but at the same time, I'll miss rooting against him. Is that a good way to say it? I'm going to miss cheering against the bad guy. Because who's the new bad guy that you want to just sort of, every time you hear the name, you know, I would probably say Aaron Rodgers would be next. Another team who over the last weekend, was, normally I'd be rooting hand over fist for the 49ers to lose, yet somehow there was a part of me that wanted to see Aaron Rodgers lose at home in front of all those Packer fans, knowing that they had all the advantages, every edge, every, I don't know what the spread was in the game, but I'm sure that they were favored. Number one seed and all that. There's some joy you get out of watching the number one team drop and crumble. So while I don't like to see the 49ers move on to succeed, there was some great joy in watching the Packers fall apart and have their own off-season misery start to unfold. The drama about where's this quarterback going to go, they can focus on that for a while and leave Russell Wilson's drama alone, at least for a short while, until he makes up his mind what he's going to do. So they're both out. So now who's the new bad guy? Who's the new bad guy quarterback? You want to hate. Patrick Mahomes, so good. It's fun to watch. I don't want to see him not play because he's so good. Josh Allen, that game together, it's like you want that game to never end. I think somebody make a joke like this. We should replace the Super Bowl with a 7-game series between these two teams alone. But seriously, it was that good. So you look around and you feel like, man, those two guys, arguably right now, maybe the best quarterbacks in the league. Who's next? Who's that new face that represents the that team that you want to hate? I don't think there is one right now. Tom Brady gone, Aaron Rodgers out. Now I just got to go against the division, my division rivals, which just makes it tough for this weekend because they're both playing in it. What the heck? But as I've argued and made a point out of, there's a part of me that feels like I want to see the Rams lose because, again, they're at home. They're obviously the better team. They've got everything going for them, and they're hosting the Super Bowl. No team should have so much going for them. That's having your cake and eating it too and having seconds. I mean, that's too much stuff. So the 49ers, I can't stand them. The one good thing that I can take solace in is that if they, no matter what success the 49ers have, we'll always be able to say, we swept you guys. No matter what you guys do this year, we beat you at both times. So not a lot of teams can say that. The Rams certainly can't say that. So we've got kind of the corner market on that little consolation prize. All right, so it should be an interesting game this weekend. And again, I think surprisingly, the Rams are only a 3.5 point favorite, which means that basically it's kind of an even game because home field advantage normally gives you 3 points. So it's practically even according to the Vegas odds. But maybe that's because they're weighing to the fact that the Rams the 49ers have had the Rams number all year. Talking about teams that have never lost to them. They've swept. I think that's the right side. They've swept the Rams for the last 5 or 6 games, which blows my mind because Seattle sweeps the Niners. Niners sweep the Rams. Rams sweep the Seahawks. Makes no sense, right? Just you definitely can't apply algebraic equations to this. It would not add up at all. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game turns out. Normally I'd be live streaming these games. Unfortunately, well, I should say not unfortunately, but unfortunately for streaming live, but for my own, my oldest daughter Sophie's got a volleyball tournament tomorrow that happens on the same day. I really should be mad at them. Why don't they schedule that on Saturday? Why do they make it on Sunday? Don't they know it's an NFC AFC Championship weekend? Why would you put a tournament on the same day? Doggone it. But there's nothing better than watching your old kid play. So I gladly make the sacrifice. I don't think those games will be as good as last weekend anyway. I have a feeling that Kansas City is going to win it going away. And I feel like the Rams are going to turn the tide. 49ers, luck is going to run out this weekend. I mean, they need a lot of luck. If you watch the show, me with the round table, Steezy and Squabo talking about the divisional games. 49ers were so lucky, man. And I'll put someone argue, oh, no, it's not luck. That's where luck is, where preparation meets opportunity. Blah, 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 blah. Come on. When you win a game on a blocked field goal and a blocked punt, one of them turning into a touchdown, and all they needed was one of those to happen, you're damn lucky. You know, and it doesn't matter. Like I said, you could do a 7-game series and the Rams would probably win 6 out of 7 times, or the Packers would probably win 6 out of 7 times. But we happen to watch the one time in the 7 games that they didn't win, and that's all that counts. We've been lucky too. You know, that game against the Packers, speaking of the Packers, championship game, 2014 season, winning that game the way we did was luck. I'm not going to deny it. You have to make the plays, of course, but there's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of luck to get an onside kick. The bounce of that ball, you can't predict that. You know, and Brandon Bostic of the Packers at the time, ball careened off his helmet, giving us the chance for Chris Matthews to recover. I mean, that's you call it boneheaded play, lack of discipline, brain fart, or just bad luck. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. And so, but you do have to, the door, luck, the way I look at it is luck opens the door. I think in life and everything, and winning the Super Bowl is a microcosm of life, right? You're trying to reach the top of whatever it is your goals are. And there's always a little bit of luck in this world to get where you want to go. I mean, you can be good, you can be prepared, and obviously the more prepared you are, the more chances are luck happens. But to me, luck is basically, luck is an open door. So when luck decides, I'm going to show up today and help you, it opens the door for you. But you have to step through it. You've got to take that door and then step through the doorway. And if you're not prepared to step through the doorway, well, you miss out. You're not prepared. But if you're prepared and the door opens for a crack, then you get in there and you take advantage. And I can think of a lot of moments in life where by luck, I didn't get into an accident or I didn't get killed probably while driving. I've had times when I was driving, I was way too tired and I, did a lane change and didn't even realize it. I woke up in the other side of the lane, like, oh, what just happened? And if luck was going the wrong way, I'd probably be in a ditch or wrapped around another car or something. So I've definitely been lucky, more than my fair share. And even with, opportunities that have come up, meeting certain people, meeting my wife and things like that, there's a little bit of luck happening. How you doing? So, you got to have, you got to be on the lookout, but you definitely got to be prepared. So when it happens, you know that it's there. You see that there's a door here. I better step through it and take advantage. So, but you definitely have to be prepared. As Daniel on a roundtable yesterday talked about, he was arguing with me about this whole point about luck. And he was saying, no, it wasn't luck. These guys practiced this, and the Packers had crappy special teams play all year. This was bound to happen. And so you had 2 teams, one that was prepared for it and one that had not been prepared. And in fact, they weren't even prepared on the final play of the game. When San Francisco lined up to kick the game winner, they only had 10 guys on the field, on the side of the ball. Clearly, there's a problem, a disconnect here that showed a pattern throughout that game. I'm surprised the special teams coach wasn't fired already if he hasn't been. But so there's some truth to that. It's not just entirely luck. It is being able to recognize it and be ready for that moment, because that door might open for just a second. And if you don't jump in, you're not ready for it. You might go, dang it, I had a chance right there. And I think about that in a lot of games that Seattle has won in recent years. We did very lucky because we won a lot of these tight games that allowed us to, for example, last year when going 12-4 and winning the division, easily could have been 9-7 or worse, But I think about that. People walking today. The last 2 days I walked, I had not a soul. Today I've run into 3 groups already. Show you a quick view. I'll remember that thought though. So this is where we come out of the woods, and this opens up here. This area where it's this land is controlled by it's government owned because of the power lines that run through here. but this power runs through from, I think, from the dams at Snoqualmie, and then it sends power over here to the west side. But going back to my point about 12-4 Seahawks last year, how many games, I think specifically the Vikings game, we had to have every play perfect to win that game where we were down, and not even just on the offensive drive to score the winning touchdown, but on the stop. They had been running all over us, the Vikings were, and they went for it on 4th and 1. They could have made it a 7-point game, kicking a give-me field goal, but instead they go for it to try to basically ice the game, and they fall just inches, maybe an inch short. And the play before then, they almost had it, and the defense made a play. Now, one could argue, is that luck, or is that just fighting hard to, make a bigger play than the other team? Well, I think it's a little bit of both, because I think on every play, every team is playing their hearts out. It's not like no one's not trying. But I think at a given moment, there's a little bit of luck. Does your body slide this way? Does your footing not as strong? Does the other guy just happen to get a microsecond step jump on you because you can't hear the noise or whatever, or the noise is drowning out the snap count? So I think that game, we had to be perfect there. And then how many 4th down conversions do we have going back to try to score? If any one of those plays fails, we lose that game. And yet we executed every single one of them. And then at the narrowest of margins, with defender on over his back, DK Metcalf makes the catch and the touchdown to win the game. But that's a great play, but it's also a little bit of luck. And I felt like 2021, I would feel what the phrase that defines this team this year is, we just had bad luck. Luck ran out on us. We had too many injuries, including Russell. We had plays that normally we'd find a way to get that done. DK makes that catch to get a first down against the Titans to basically seal the game, but we didn't get it. We were like one play short on a bunch of games. And if any of those games, a handful of those games could have gone our way, we'd be in the playoffs. And I'm pretty convinced that the way we're playing right now, Seattle was playing their best ball, especially with the running game going with Rashad Penny, that we had a really good chance to beat any of the teams in the NFC. Unfortunately, we peaked too late, and we were unlucky for too long. So that's how I define it. And we've had a lot of that luck the last few years, because I believe it takes luck. The Buccaneers were lucky last year to have had a team with minimal injuries, and the Chiefs had a slew of injuries. So that's bad luck. You can't plan an injury. You can't put a expectation on when an injury is going to happen. And I think that is bad luck sometimes. It's bad ankle roll, bad twist, someone's foot gets caught under yours, somebody dives at your knees at the wrong time. That's bad luck. Anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see the teams. I think Kansas City and the Rams don't need luck to win their games this weekend. The Bengals and the Niners will need luck to win the game. And if they get lucky enough, they can win it. But I believe the teams that they're simply better stacked across the board. Maybe the defensive Niners, that's pretty good. But I do believe that it's going to take some lucky bounces for either the Bengals or the 49ers to get a win. So I expect a Kansas City Rams matchup tomorrow. For the Super Bowl. So I want to just talk a little bit. I want to update you on a lot of you have been watching my updates about my dad. And we had a little bit of a setback. He was supposed to come back tomorrow, Sunday night. It was perfectly laid out. My sister was going to come fly in. We were going to watch the volleyball tournament. And it's pretty much straight from there, go pick up my sister from the airport, go pick up my dad from the hospital, and it would all work out perfectly. But the doctors determined he's still not getting enough oxygen. He's they got it set at 5 liters, and they really wanted to be at 2 to 3 liters for them to feel comfortable sending him off from the hospital, and he's just not there yet. So they can't give a timeline either when that's going to change. That's really all up to my dad and his body's ability to fight this off. So we're on a day-by-day basis waiting to see how his situation changes. And it's really tough. It's hard to plan these things, not knowing when that announcement might come. It could come tomorrow. It could be tomorrow, and it could be, and the announcement could be tomorrow that he can come back Monday, or we might have to wait another day. It depends on how he responds. But what I've learned through all this, for those of you, and the reason I'm kind of posting about this is, in addition to documenting thoughts on it, it's also so for people who haven't seen this firsthand, like myself. I really hadn't gone through it with anybody close to the family. This has been a very interesting learning experience. And so the three things that are the most debilitating from my dad's situation is number one is the breathing, just the inability to get enough air. And particularly, as my dad put it, when he tries to do something, whether it's sitting up, sitting on the side of the bed, anything that's not just laying there, he feels like he's having a panic attack. Now, I've never had a panic attack, so I don't even know what that means, but I think it means your breathing gets fast and shallow, your heart rate goes up, so you just feel this sort of, like your body's, like you just sprinted really hard and now you're fighting to catch your breath. I think that'd be the best way to compare it to. And I know the feeling like your breath's constricted and you can't get your air, and it is a panicky feeling, like you're almost like you're drowning. So that's the biggest obstacle that he faces right now. And then the second, just the exhaustion factor. He's just really tired, and I'm guessing it's part related to the breathing, because you don't get enough air. Your body just doesn't have enough, your body needs oxygen to get energy. But just being tired all the time. I think it doesn't help in the hospital. He always complains that the nurses and stuff, they check on him seems like every 4 hours or more. So just when he feels like he's about to get some sleep, they come in there, poke him with this, draw this, check that, squeeze this. So he doesn't seem to get solid rest because of all the stuff they have to do. So just generally being tired and exhausted is a real thing. Like I feel right now. I feel like this is probably how my dad feels all the time. Trying to catch your breath. All right, I'm gonna get to number 3 in a second, but first I want to show you where I'm at. Yes, you can't control your breathing, and they've been working on that. Giving him breathing techniques in through the nose, out through the mouth, and it's been hard. I think my dad's really used to that. All right, just went through this kind of dip and went back up. So now at the top, below these power lines. So I was over there, climbed up to that point down here. Oh, I forgot to point out, this right here, this area, that's where we shot the Chicago Bears thing with Brian Abker and Mark Collins. It's right down that little stretch, right there. That little bit of path, that's where we shot the Mark Collins Chicago Bears sketch. One of the funniest things we've ever done. Okay, so the third thing is eating. It's been pretty tough for my dad to eat. He doesn't have much appetite, but he said the main thing is just he can still taste things, but it's just hard. It's hard to swallow the food, put it down. So it's just hard. I know what sore throat's like, and I know it's like to lose your taste and you don't feel like eating, but he just said it's just hard to put it down. Like it gets stuck. So he's got that challenge as well. So I don't know. I have no idea what his body constitution is right now, but I know he's not eating enough. So he's probably lost some weight. He hasn't been doing anything really physical outside of what he can do in bed. So his muscles have been atrophying, I'm sure. I mean, imagine laying in bed for 2 weeks straight. Your muscle is going to be a little out of shape, not to mention the rest of you. So combine those 3 things: inability to breathe, being tired, and then not eating enough food to give you energy. So that's the battle. That's the battle he's fighting right now. So, but I think if we just get battle number 1 out of the way, then he can be at home and start working on those things 2 and 3 in the comfort of his own home with help of my mom and my sister and me. So anyway, that's where my dad's is. He's good in spirits though. I talked to him today. My buddy Mark Collins called him this morning and chatted with him. Talked a little football, talked about Seahawks and his cat Wilson. My dad actually did get to watch some of that playoff football last week. I didn't think he did. He did watch some of that. And so he's overall pretty good spirits. It's just like a weaker version. You know, my dad's got a pretty strong voice, but with air being limited, it just sounds more weaker, more feeble, and hard to hear him that way. But I think his outlook's good. Got a positive attitude, so he's hanging in there. He will come home eventually. It's just a matter of how soon. Just a little later than we thought. So, well, as I said, I'm 36 minutes. It's almost gonna be exactly 40 by the time I get back. I think I probably went a little slower than I did the last couple times because I'm talking and walking with this. So I'm probably going a little bit slower clip than I did. First 2 times I did it, I had my headphones on. I was listening to some podcasts and music and stuff and just going full bore. It's a little hard to go fast when you're talking the whole time. That's why, you know, if you ever done an aerobics class or anything, those aerobic teachers, it blows my mind. I've taken a few and I'm like dying, barely able to keep moving and catch a breath. And these guys are talking the whole time, they're doing the moves and 3 more, 2 more, okay, now let's do lunges. 1, 2, 3. Like, man, where do you breathe? You're talking the whole time. It's amazing. So for me, I'm just trying to get a little more regular exercise on a daily basis. I can't remember if I said this in the beginning, but I'm 52 years old, 5'10 and a half. I'm about Russell's height. If he and I stood next to each other, we'd be about the same. My shoulders would probably be lower than his, but then I'd equalize on the total height because my neck is long. Last I checked, I'm about 216 pounds, which is that's a little bit much for me because for most of my life, in my later years, the last like 10, 20 years, I've been around 205 roundabouts. And when I was singing in a band back in the band years from the late 2000s to the early 2010s before I started NorbCam, and some nights we were gigging like 3, sometimes 4 nights a week in various casinos and clubs and stuff. And we'd put on a show. We were moving. No mic stands, had a headset mic, and by the time we got to the end, it was like a drenched sweat fest. So I got down to 189 pounds at the peak of our performing. Well, since then, needless to say, I've not been quite as active as I was then. So, yes, I'm back up to probably the highest that I've been in a long time at 216. So my goal is I would love to get down to 200. If I can get to 200, lose 16 pounds, that'd be awesome. I do a little weightlifting a couple times a week. The girls going, so we do some muscle weight training, but really not enough cardio. The girls play volleyball, they do all their stuff, so they're getting plenty of cardio for the most part. But, you know, guys like us get older. It's a little tougher. We gotta make the time to do it. So try to make this time. And like I said, if I can do this and have a little YouTube motivation to do it, commit to it, well, at least you guys can hold me accountable, because I'll be like, man, I'm really tired and lazy today, but I got to do my walk talk episode. It forced me to throw my walking shoes on and all that, even in the rain. Weather's been nice lately. Today's beautiful. It's like 50 degrees out, sunny, partly cloudy. The last 2 days was pretty cold. It's like 28 degrees the first day I started this, 32 degrees yesterday, and now today's nice balmy 50 degrees. So there will be days when it's going to be pouring down rain, and that's going to be challenging to commit to this, because I'm going to look out there and go, man, I really want to get drenched and wet. My shoes are going to get muddy and all that. I'm already talking myself out of this. But I'm about to just make an alternate plan, walk a different route where it's not through the woods and all the gunk, and just get the steps in anyway. Got to do it. I mean, I think about my dad's condition, and I think about people who have been hit harder by this. I know that anytime you have any kind of pre-existing conditions, whether it be diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, any of that stuff makes you more susceptible to having a hard time with it. So as much as I can, I sure and heck want to be around for a long time so I can watch my kids grow up and watch them have kids someday, maybe get married, all that kind of stuff. So, and keep doing YouTube videos until I'm too old to do it. I was wondering how long is YouTube going to be around, and how long will I be doing this? I'll be like 70. Okay, go Hawks. Anyway, we'll see. It's fun. It's fun to be doing for a while there. I'm kind of excited. I didn't even realize this. It happened kind of unceremoniously by accident yesterday. But I was putting some videos up on Instagram, which I don't do a whole lot of Instagram videos, but recently I kind of put a few of the exciting plays from 2013 and 2014 championship games. And I realized when I peeked at my profile, I was like, oh, I finally hit 10K. I hit 10K followers on Instagram. Nothing really happened. It was just, hey, it's 10K now. Because I've been hovering at like 9,000, 700 or whatever. I was always like 400 or 500 away for the longest time. And all of a sudden it just popped in there. It's like, oh, cool. JMJ for life says, get a station bike for those rainy days. I had a treadmill at one point, and that thing got used for a while, and eventually just became more of a clothing dryer to hang stuff from. So I eventually gave that to my friend. But really, the walking thing, there's no reason to do it. That's why they make jackets. That's why you have rain slickers. I mean, there's no reason not to do it. And some guys just go out there anyway. They're running their shorts and shirts, and they're just soaked, and they just do it, So that's just how. Hi. So, back in the neighborhood. About to wrap this up. It's almost 40 minutes on the dot. Would have been 40 if I'd done the original pace. But are you guys moving in?
No, she's moving out.
Moving out, okay.
Yeah.
But so you guys sold the place though, or they sold it?
I don't know. I assume so.
Okay. Huh. Gonna get new neighbors here. Hey, what's up, man? All right, you guys. I'm gonna wrap things up. 42 minutes, almost 43 on the dot. All right, that was good. It feels good. Always feels good afterwards. Get the heart rate up, get a little sweat going, get some fresh air through the lungs. Somebody asked a question about Super Bowl 49. Andy, I did get your email. Yes, I passed it on to my dad. I don't know if he's had a chance to look at it. I did send it to him. So thank you for the video. Madhav Rajesh says, what would have happened if Seattle won 49? Would Brady become the GOAT? I talked about this at length in the beginning of the video. It was the first thing I talked about is his legacy. How would that have changed? Two pivotal points in Brady's career. Just go back and watch this if you want to hear my take on it. But two things. Super Bowl 49, where Russell, if we'd won it, it would be Brady 3, Russell 2. And if you go back to 2001, his first year in the AFC Championship game against the Raiders in the snow, if the tuck rule didn't exist, who knows if any of this stuff is even talked about. So, how will the Bucs do now that Brady's gone? Big question is, who's going to take his spot? Who is the actual quarterback? And now that Brady's gone, I think they're going to drop. I think they are going to take a hit. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out how much of it was him and how much was the team constructed around him. We'll find out in the coming year. But I think he's going to fall. Not him. I think the team is going to drop. Happen to the Patriots, and I think it'll happen to the Bucs. He is that good. Coach Mesh says, hopefully enjoy your walk. Keep doing this video type. Also, eat the Carolina Reaper, the hottest pepper on earth. No thanks. If I get Thai food, I order maybe 2 stars. I'm not one of those crazy eat fiery hot stuff. All right, I'm gonna get inside, take a shower, keep going on my day. But what is this? TJC Brady is back, not even lying. Okay. All right, gonna get out of here. I'll hopefully be doing this on a daily basis, so I'll be back tomorrow. My hope is to do this at least 5 times a week, with the exception of days I have to do work or something, doesn't allow me to. We'll see if I can commit to this whole thing. Day number 3 off the books. Later.